As an American, I'm not allowed to go to North Korea. And that started in 2017.
Hello, I'm your host, David Barrett, and today we're joined by an extraordinary traveller who has embarked on some truly remarkable adventures. Let's get started. Presented in partnership with TravelDailyNews Asia-Pacific, welcome to this latest episode of Traveller's World.
As an American, I'm not allowed to go to North Korea. And that started in 2017. So I've finished 190 countries. There's 2 countries that are very easy that I'm saving until the end for a celebration with family and friends. I'm from Miami originally, so the other 2 countries are in the Caribbean, St. Lucia and Barbados. My friends and family would rather celebrate in St. Lucia than in North Korea. Can you blame them?
Sounds sensible.
For me, North Korea is more exciting than St. Lucia, but I understand.
So with all your travels, are you documenting your stories either with a blog or video?
Yeah. I have a YouTube channel called Phil's Guide to the World, and I don't know if you can see this, but this can you see this? This is my slogan. The slogan to my channel.
See for yourself.
That's right.
Wow, what a great way to live.
Well, the idea is I specialize in going to places like Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan and Syria, places that people might be apprehensive about going to. And through my channel, I'm trying to open their eyes to the wonderful people and the places beyond the politics. Right? People have preconceived notions based on what they see in the news. Right? And so on my channel, I want to go beyond the news and show the beautiful side. I go deep and I talk to people on camera, and I spend like a month I spent in Iran.
Where should I go? What's the number one recommended destination?
In the world?
For Phil, yeah.
My favorite place, unfortunately, I went there before I started a YouTube channel, but my favorite place in the world isn't even a country. But it's a continent. Can you guess? Okay, it's Antarctica. Right? So Antarctica doesn't count as a country because it doesn't have a government. There's
Antarctica. Oh my goodness.
Because you literally feel like you're at the edge of the world, and everything just appears super calm, and the skies are unlike anything you've ever seen before. The wildlife is great. It's just there's a feeling you get down there. And that's actually strange for me to say, because when people ask me my top 10 favorite countries, I have a criteria. There's the people, there's the food, there's the culture, right? And then there's there's the history, right? And then wildlife. That might be one thing, right? And Antarctica has the wildlife, but not the people or the food or any of that. But it's just the feeling you get down there that's just spectacular.
And as a foodie myself, what's the tastiest destination we can go to?
That's a good question. It might surprise you, but my favorite food in the world is from Sri Lanka. It's like Indian food, but it's more coconut, it's more savory and sweet together. Yeah, they have this, it's like a, what do you call it, like a condiment that they put on. You could put it on any food, but it's called coconut sambal, and it's basically shredded coconut with red chilies in it. So it's savory and sweet, and you sprinkle it on like you would chili sauce. It's amazing.
Fantastic. What place would you say do not travel? If there's passionate travelers who are starting their global journey, and you would say, there's one place I do not recommend you go to.
Well, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't start in West or Central Africa, right? I mean, I don't think I have no do not travel places. I find the beauty in every place.
Have you ever been to a place where you felt your safety threatened?
No, never. Not once. Yeah, I mean, I've been in places that are difficult in terms of roads and cars breaking down and like difficulty to get decent food, but I've never felt unsafe. Not once. And I've been traveling basically 75% of the year for 13 years.
Travel can be quite a lonely affair. How do you balance travel with family and relationships?
Well, okay. With family, I'm back in the U.S. at least a couple times a year. Most of the time, I'm home for like 4 or 5 months, and my family lives in Miami. I live in San Francisco, and I'm back and forth on the East Coast for birthdays or for holidays or Thanksgiving or any of that stuff. In terms of relationships, it's difficult. There's no doubt. If I'm actually in a relationship where I live in San Francisco, then I'm not traveling as much. But sometimes it's hard.
Have you traveled and then you've been somewhere incredible, but you've had homesickness and loneliness?
I've never felt homesick and I've never felt lonely on the road because I actually meet more varied people, more new people than when I'm traveling than I do at home, right? So when you travel solo, it kind of forces you to be more social than when you're traveling with someone else. So you have the option to have your own time, or you make it as social as you want. So I haven't had any problems.
What's the most amazing people you've met or wildlife on your travels?
The most amazing people I've met?
Or wildlife. Can be people, could be wildlife.
Oh, wildlife.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Well, I would say in general, the people in the Middle East are the most hospitable and the friendliest. Yeah, I've had like such uniquely impactful interactions with people in the Middle East, whether it be in Iran or Saudi Arabia. People going out of their way to make me feel at home, to make me dinner, or to bring me to meet their family. It's been really, really wonderful. Yeah, I had in Pakistan, I crashed my drone into a forest about 500 meters away, and the drone, we didn't know which tree it was up. There was like 200 trees, and 4 Pakistani men without shoes just started climbing trees. They didn't ask for any money. They just started climbing trees, and they somehow found it. And there's a video on my channel about it. It was one of the coolest experiences ever.
Wow. So taking US out of the equation where that is sort of home, with all the places you've been to, if you had to choose home somewhere else, where would it be?
I can't tell you that yet, but I am planning this winter, after this conference, to live in Bali for a couple months. Because it has a pretty large, first of all, it's very beautiful. I've been several times, but only as a visitor, and I kind of wanted to be there to live for a few months. Yeah, and there's a big expat community there, a lot of digital nomads. I work remotely on my channel wherever I am, but I've done a lot of traveling this year, so I kind of want to stay in one place and just get to work.
And can your travel be self-funding? At lunchtime, I was talking with the crew, and we were saying, how can everybody afford a lifestyle of travel and on such an extensive and extraordinary basis? So how do you fund travel?
A variety of ways. First of all, I make money from my YouTube channel. I typically, because I'm gone for a minimum of 6 months at a time, I rent my home in San Francisco, which really helps to pay for my travels, especially in Asia and developing countries, because it's very expensive in San Francisco, so that helps. And I also have investments. I was a successful tech entrepreneur in the past. I had a couple successful companies, so yeah.
And what would be the surreal moment that you've had so far in travel where you say, I can't believe I'm here? Was that Antarctica or somewhere else?
Antarctica was the start of it, yeah. But let me back up for a second. I think when I first started this, when I say this, meaning longer term travel, it was about 12 or 13 years ago when I first rented my place and said, I'm going to go for 6 months. At that point, I had probably been to like 20 or 30 countries doing quote unquote normal trips. I'm there for a week and I go home, right? So it's a different lifestyle. I think when I got to India, which was one of my first or second countries of this 12 years of travel, and I was able to like survive it, for lack of a better word, for 2 months. I felt like I could do anything. I was just talking to someone from India today, and I said that, and I really meant it. If you can like spend 2 months in India, you can go anywhere. Really, it's amazing, but it's also very challenging. Yeah, but it's a combination of food and people and amazing things and sights and smells. It's a really wonderful place. Not for everyone though.
And what do you want to inspire and do with your YouTube channel? What's the goal?
Yeah, it's really to show people beyond the news, right? It's see for yourself whether or not you feel comfortable going to a place like Syria or Iran. You can see it on my channel and decide for yourself. Maybe you won't go after seeing it, but at least your eyes will be open to the fact that 99% of the people there are good, right? You know, it's not...
It's intriguing because I consume the news, which is sensational, and it's a very specific story that's being told, yet you see the destination and a very different picture to what we're presented with.
Sure.
And
because the news doesn't show good news, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my channel is there to show you like not only the people, but there's a lot of amazing places to see, and it's safe. I'm there walking around with the camera, talking to people. Wow. People are coming up to me, asking me questions. It's way beyond what you see on the news. So that's my takeaway.
And for young travelers that are just starting their journey or might be seeing this dream of chasing 193, what's your piece of advice to them?
I would say start in Southeast Asia. Yeah, because it's catering to young backpackers. There's a lot of young backpackers around, so you'll meet friends and you'll get the bug. But things are a lot easier here than going to Africa. So get your sea legs in Southeast Asia. Start in Thailand or Vietnam and take it from there. If you really love it from there, then you'll want to go to places like Pakistan or Iran or other places, maybe South America next, and then, you know, make it harder and harder as you go.
Fantastic. Phil, thanks so much for chatting with us for Traveller's World at the Extraordinary Travel Festival today.
Pleasure being here. Thank you for asking me.
I think the world needs to see for yourself. Yeah, we're going to visit your website. We need to follow you, look at your YouTube channel.
Phil's Guide to the World, and on Instagram, Phil's Guide, @Phil'sGuide.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
All right.
Keep traveling.
Awesome.
Cut.